Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about nutrition for young athletes. Hello, my name is Casey Miller and I'm the CEO and founder of Thriving On. And in this video, what I'm going to go over is the heavy hitters of what you should be focusing on as a young athlete, or if you're a parent of a young athlete, what you should be feeding your young athletes, okay? We're also going to be going over what they should be eating before games and or practices, some things to consider when they should be putting onto their plate, giving some examples of that so you know what to do with that. And also something that a lot of people forget that really does have a huge impact in your performance and your ability to recover and stay healthy is hydration. So we'll be going into that. Okay. But before we go into those, I want to make sure that I introduce myself. My name is Casey Miller. I'm the CEO and founder of Thriving On. I'm a former D1 softball player, and I also was a former full-time competitive weightlifter. I was competitive in like 4 different weight classes nationally, and I was also had the opportunity to compete for Team USA internationally. So that was my little claim to fame right there. I've been helping people become the CEO of their health for over 10 years. I live in Kansas City, Missouri. I was born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska. I have moved around, but I'm mainly a Midwest girl. I have a pit bull named Rogue, but we just call her Meatball, and she's the sassiest doggo around, I swear. I have a kind not nice approach to coaching, where I will always tell you what you need to hear. It might not be what you want to hear, but I'm always going to tell you what you need to hear out of a place of love, just because I want to see you win. And then I'm also very, very blessed to say that I wake up loving what I do every single day, working with some amazing people and completely making people's lives better, both mentally and physically by the time that we're done with this. Like you can't get much better than that, I swear. Then from there, my credentials, a little bit about me. I was a speaker at the 2023 Coaching Con live event where there was close to 1,000 people there. And I got to talk about what we do at Thriving On and how it's different than a lot of people out there, which was absolutely amazing to be able to be on stage with some amazing people like Hermoses, Jason Phillips, and a few other people. So absolutely amazing experience. I've been in the fitness industry for over 10 years, like I said before. I also have a CrossFit Level 2 certification, manage a couple CrossFit gyms as well in my career. I have my CrossFit gymnastics cert, my USA W Level 1, so that means I am a weightlifting coach with the snatch and the clean and jerk. I also helped coach a nationally competitive weightlifting team as well. Got to experience that, and that was fantastic. I also retired from nationally competing as a weightlifter in 4 different weight classes. I have my NCI Level 1 and 2, my NCI Hormonal Specialist, Mindset, and then I have my Precision Nutrition Level 1 course. So a little bit about my journey and how I got here today. I like to joke that I became a coach from all the mistakes that I made. I did everything that you're not supposed to do. And I was an athlete my whole life, but nobody ever taught me how to eat according to what I needed as an athlete. All I heard from what was in movies and magazines and what I saw my mom going through was just eat less and move more. And I also was an athlete. I had thicker thighs. Luckily, nowadays it's celebrated. But back when I was a younger kid, having muscular legs was not sought after, and I was teased quite a bit. And so I relied on the one thing that I only knew from what I saw around me, and that was I just needed to keep eating less and moving more. And unfortunately, by the time I hit 12 years old, I developed an eating disorder. And as I got older, it only got worse and worse and worse. And I really, truly believe this did have a huge negative impact in my athletic career because I wanted to be the best softball player I could ever be. And by the time I was a weightlifter later on in my life, I wanted to be the best weightlifter I could ever be. But because of the methods that I was using, because nobody ever really taught me how to do this. Not too many people when I was younger was properly coaching nutrition at that time. Again, all I saw was Weight Watchers or what I saw in the movies or infomercials, which probably aged me right there. But I just resorted to eating less, moving more, beating my body up, and I was literally trying to hate my body into the life that I wanted. And we can both agree practically starving yourself and restricting yourself isn't good for you mentally or physically, especially as an athlete. And so as I got older, because the hate for myself grew, I started relying on food and alcohol to cope with my anxiety and my depression and my battle that I was dealing with. And so as I got older and I got to college, and this was my time to shine, to be the best athlete I could be, I got nothing left. I had nothing left. I was constantly injured. I didn't prioritize myself. I didn't sleep because I couldn't. And I was the chronic yo-yo dieter. I spent very little time being in shape and faster, but I was just in the background, just not eating. And then I would spend times being extremely overweight and not being able to perform very well because I was just eating everything in sight. And it was just this chronic yo-yo dieting cycle. And by the time I graduated, I could barely even play because I was always injured and I was always sick. I definitely did not have a great college career. And I really do believe it's just because I didn't know how to treat my body well. Nobody ever really taught me how to do it. And then after a couple years later, I fell in love with CrossFit, which led me into weightlifting as well. And when I started trying to compete, again, like my old behavior of trying to just eat less and move more. And in my mind, if I was smaller, I'd be more valuable. I'd be a better athlete. More people would like me. I was just tying my value to my body. It drove me to keep cutting weight, to keep trying to be smaller and lighter. And due to this chronic hating on my body, not eating well, not prioritizing my body, trying to just get smaller and smaller and smaller, my eating disorder became its worst. My body dysmorphia became worse. And I started developing hormonal issues just from the chronic stress of me just beating myself up and not knowing how to properly fuel my body. And unfortunately, today I'm still working on my hormonal health, but I don't regret my journey. I don't, because I was able to get on the other side. I was able to work with somebody that properly taught me how to fuel my body, to work with my body, to love on my body rather than try to hate on it, and to feel great. I honestly say that I feel the best that I've ever been in my whole life right now. And now I take this information, I help people avoid the same mistakes that I made, to help them get the most out of their life, to help them love on their body, to work with it rather than trying to hate on it, to be the best athlete that they can be, or whatever goal that they have. They don't have to be an athlete. We help everybody, but we just want to help people live their best life. And I wouldn't have been able to get where I am today, where we help thousands of people all over the world live their best life and become the CEO of their health, if I didn't make these mistakes. Right? So here are some things that I wish that I was taught as a young athlete that would have completely been a game changer for me. Okay. First off, before I go into that, I forgot to mention, like, if you want to learn a little bit more about my story or what we do with Thriving On, you can follow me on social media. You can also listen to our podcast, the Surviving to Thriving podcast. And then we also have our website too, www.thriving-on.com. But here we go. Number one is going to be the big four for performance. Here are the 4 things that you should be focusing on right here. Okay. So think of your nutrition as your fuel, right? You are a race car. You're trying to be an athlete. You're trying to be a race car. You need some race car fuel. Okay. Because when we treat our nutrition like our fuel, this will help us excel on the field. It'll help us build muscle. It'll help us recover faster, avoid those nagging, getting sick or injuries that keep you out of the game or keep you out of practice. And honestly, really, it does help you level up mentally in your mental game. All right. So the big 4 for performance is going to be proteins, fats, carbs, and fiber. So I'm going to go over here and go over a little bit more. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to go over is protein. Think of these as building blocks for your muscles. It keeps you getting stronger. It helps you get faster. It helps improve recovery. So if you get really, really tired from a game, the next day you're going to feel even better because you're recovering fast. It's going to help prevent injuries, and it's also going to help you keep your energy even throughout the day. If you want to perform better, if you want to get faster, if you want to be a better athlete, it requires more muscle than you think it does. So getting regular protein in every single day is essential to being healthy, getting better over a progressive period of time, and making sure that you're preventing injury as well. Number 2 is going to be carbohydrates. Okay. I was taught to fear carbohydrates when I was younger. That's what I learned. But later on in life, I actually learned that it's like the best thing for athletes. It's actually your brain and your muscles' preferred fuel source. It's essential for quick energy. You know, those sprints and long games or like those games that you have to move quick or you have to be on the go a lot. Your muscles need carbohydrates to properly function. Otherwise, it's not going to go so hot. It's one of the reasons why people hit a wall or anything like that during their games is because maybe they don't eat enough carbohydrates. All right. So you want to make sure that you're eating enough carbohydrates. It's your best friend as an athlete. And number 3 is going to be fats. Fats are essential for having a balanced long-term energy throughout the day. So think carbs is quick energy. Fats is going to be long-term energy. So I'm going to have long-term energy throughout the day when I get lots of fats, and carbohydrates is going to help me when I need that quick energy in my practices and games. And then it's also just really great for endurance as well and overall well-being. Fats are really great for transporting certain nutrients your body needs to stay nice and healthy and build muscle and perform well. And it's also really great for hormonal health, especially as a youth. The parents, if you're watching this, they do need a well-balanced diet that includes fats to help with hormonal health, which is essential for their overall well-being. And then number 4 is going to be fiber. So fiber is what is found in food, and you eat it, and it helps create really great gut health, okay? The reason why we want to focus on gut health when it comes to performance is that your gut health has a direct effect on your mental game, your mental health. When you want to be smart and quick on the field, have that good mental concentration, the ability to have emotional stability. A lot of times our coaches are having conversations with us. It's like, just let it pass through. Just like you made one mistake, move on. And sometimes it's a little hard. When we have really great mental game, we're really sharp. We're focused. We're ready to go. We're making adjustments quickly, and we're not letting things get to us as much when we do have a good gut health. The reason why gut health has a direct effect to your mental health is because your gut is directly connected to your brain through the largest nerve in your body called the vagus nerve. So there has been a lot of science and research showing that your gut health can directly affect your mental health. So if you have really great fiber throughout a balanced diet, that's really going to help you level up on the mental side of things, okay? So number 2 is going to be what to eat before practices and games. Let's go over that. So we want to make sure that we're eating before practices and games. That's essential. If you're hitting a wall in the middle of your workouts or your practices, you're shaking, maybe you get hangry, you get headaches, you feel like you're going to throw up, you feel like you don't have any or you feel like your performance just drops, you may not be eating enough before your workouts or your practices or your games. So the first indication, especially if you have a sensitive stomach, I want you to eat at least 3 to 4 hours before any activity with plenty of carbs and some protein. The reason why we want to keep the fats and fiber lower is because it's harder for your body to digest. It takes a long time. So it's one of the reasons why people are like, oh, I don't want to eat because it upsets my stomach before workouts. You might just be eating the wrong things. We still want to be eating generally before our workouts and our games, but we want to make sure that we're leading into the really good ones, okay? So eating good carb options like pasta, bread, fruits, vegetables, trying to avoid sugary foods and drinks on the regular. It's okay in a pinch, but we want to make sure we're getting long, even energy. So pastas, breads, fruits are going to be really great. Okay. And then vegetables like potatoes or something like that is also a really great option. If it's less than 3 hours, it depends on the person. There are some people that have a steel trap of a stomach and eats big, huge meals. I was one of those people. I could eat 1 to 2 hours before practice or games and it was completely fine. There are some people that have more sensitive stomachs, and that's okay. It's more about finding what works best for you. But it's same thing applies. Make sure that you're just not eating like a ginormous meal. Eat something a little bit smaller and easily digestible, and you should be good. If you're eating pretty close to your workouts and games, 100% okay. If I did a big meal 3 to 4 hours, I also did a small snack before, just because I did need to eat a lot for all the activity that I was doing. That's okay too. Just again, same thing. Eat a little bit smaller, eat foods that work well with your stomach, stick with lean proteins and going to be carbs, and try to stay away from fats and fiber. So trail mixes and things like that, not the best option for a snack or a meal before your game. Okay. So here are some examples that you can start incorporating. Okay, so the first one is going to be a protein smoothie. Simply adding like a protein powder in there. My favorite is going to be Legion. It's what I trust. No BS or anything like that. Really great people. Then a banana or other fruits that you want to add in there. And then almond milk with other toppings, right? That's an easy protein and carb meal right there. That's super helpful. Pasta is another really great one. If you don't have a gluten intolerance, or if you can get gluten-free, if you do have a gluten intolerance, pasta is going to be a really great one. Put some lean ground beef or chicken or anything like that on top of that as well. Another one that's super easy on the go is going to be a sandwich. Bread, turkey, like some lean lunch meat, adding some low-fat cheese, lettuce, tomato, mustard, like whatever you want to put on the sandwich, it doesn't matter. Just, again, carbs, leaner protein, low-fat, low fiber is going to be great. Then from there, another really great go-to is chicken and potatoes. It doesn't have to be sweet potatoes. It can be regular potatoes. Both of them are great options. You can also do chicken and rice too. That's also a really great option too. Rice is really easy on the stomach. You can also do like a low-fat granola bar with lots of carbohydrates, and jerky. Especially if you're on the go, if you need a quick snack in between games, that's a really great option. Another one that I really loved as an athlete was Kodiak cakes. I'd either have it in the box and put it into a mug, or I just travel around with these like to-go mugs, and they were super, super easy to do. That's another option right there too. So number 3 is how to build your plate, okay? Luckily, building your plate is not going to be much different than what you do majority of the time. Outside the meal that you eat before your workouts, just because, again, we want to lean a little less away from your fats and your veggies or your high fiber foods. Outside of that, we do want to lean into it because it's really great for us. Okay, so here's how you can break up your meals. Super simple. This is usually how I start with every single one of my clients, including my youth clients as well. And it's going to be breaking it up into right here. We're having proteins, fats, carbs, and veggies. The reason why we want to have what's called complete meals, where you have a complete set of the big heavy 4, well, it's just going to be a really great balance between the 4, to be honest with you. It's going to be mindlessly just hitting every single one that you need without being stuck with a bunch at the end or wondering if you hit your goal at the end. It also helps with recovery and building muscles faster, improves your body composition as well, improves overall quality of food too. Great quality food is amazing, and it keeps you healthy and preventing injury. So the first thing that I want you to start with is just staying simple. Start with a heavy hitter of protein. Put some protein on your plate. This can be eggs. This can be chicken, pork, Greek yogurt, lean steak, salmon, turkey, shrimp, ground beef, venison, whatever have it. Some high protein sources that you can add on there. Obviously, there's way more than just what I listed, but you're getting an idea of what I'm talking about, okay? The next thing that you want to do is add some veggies, because usually people don't rock at veggies. So add veggies in there. That's going to have that fiber that you're looking for and a lot of key nutrients that your body needs. So that's things like broccoli, zucchini, green beans, romaine, Brussels sprouts, mushrooms, bell peppers, cucumbers, cauliflower, onions. There's so much more to the list. It's not even funny. But again, you're getting the idea. Then from there, let's add some carbs in there. So that can be like apples, oats, bananas, rice, berries, quinoa, oranges, potatoes, winter squash, bread, whatever is going to be sitting well with your stomach and what works well for you. We want to make sure that we're getting some good carbohydrates on there. Carbs are good. And then from there, we want to get some healthy fats in there. So that can be nut butters like peanut butter or almond butter or whatever. It can be ghee, which is clarified butter. It can be, I like to use grass-fed butter every once in a while. It can be coconut oil, olive oil, avocado is amazing for you. Some nuts and seeds like chia seeds, hemp seeds. We can do walnuts, almonds, all of these different types of options right there. And then also, you can have a little fun with it. Dark chocolate, phenomenal for you and also tastes really, really great. Then from there, I always say, food does not have to be bland. Make sure that you're having some fun. We're adding some flavor. So I always tell my clients, make sure that you add a bunch of seasonings. So salt and pepper is a really great choice. You can do garlic salt, paprika, cumin, all these different seasonings. Me personally, I can't get enough of Trader Joe's seasonings. Like their whole seasonings on their shelves, I'm just like one after another because it really does add a huge flavor pack and just makes my food taste so great, and it allows me to get really versatile. And then also you can add some sauces on there too, like soy sauce, hot sauce, barbecue sauce, ketchup, teriyaki, vinegar, salsa, pico de gallo. Again, there's so many different sauces out there. It's not even funny, but make sure you're adding some flavor in there. Okay. And so here are some examples. So for example, for eggs, I would have eggs, olive oil, bell peppers, onions, and spinach, because I would want to saute those, and I'd make some toast, right? So for some lunch, I'll do like flank steak with some butter on top of it, some air fried asparagus, and air fried yellow potatoes, right? Dinner can be wild caught salmon, pesto as my fat, broccolini as my veggies, and rice as my carbohydrate. And snacks, one of my favorite on the go snacks, it's super easy. It's just like a Greek yogurt bowl. Like I just take Greek yogurt, I put some nut butter in it, like peanut butter. I'll put some berries and granola for my carbs. And sometimes if I'm running a little bit low on some veggies, I'll put some carrots. I'll just have something simple as a handful of carrots or a handful of cherry tomatoes or things like that, just to add a little bit more fiber in there. Okay. So here are some examples of like the big four. So that way we can build off of that. So protein right here. And also it's going to be in the packet that I have linked below if you don't have it. So you can take a look at that. Then from there, some carbs and fats as well. So you can get some ideas from there. Then here is number 5. This is something that a lot of people forget, but don't realize how detrimental it is on young athletes' performance, and that is hydration. Okay. So when it comes to hydration, losing just 1 to 2% of your body weight in fluids can be a huge wrench thrown in your performance, especially if you're in hot and humid conditions, right? When I was a softball player, I was a catcher. I wore all the equipment. I was sweating constantly, and I never knew that I had to keep staying hydrated. So here are some guidelines that you can follow through on, so that way you can prevent losing endurance or performance or mental concentration, maybe cramps as well. If you struggle with cramps, this can help out a ton. So from ages of 9 to 13, boys need 2.4 liters. So that's about 10 cups, and girls need about 2.1 liters. That's about 9 cups. And then for ages 14 through 18, boys need about 3.3 liters, so 14 cups, and girls need about 2.3 liters, about 10 cups. But even then, depending on the person and their size, their activity level, how much they're sweating, that might need to go up. The other thing that you need to make sure that you're adding in there, that's another key piece of the puzzle, is going to be electrolytes. Electrolytes are minerals that your body needs to stay hydrated. If you're drinking a lot of water and not making sure that you're getting enough electrolytes in there, you can actually dehydrate yourself. It's actually a tactic for athletes who are trying to make weight to lose water weight, which is huge on dehydrating them. So we want to make sure that we're also getting an adequate amount of electrolytes. Adding something like Liquid IV or LMNT, those are my 2 favorite go-to ones, especially with my athletes. They add those to their waters before, during, and or after their workouts, practices, or games, and it can help with nerve function, muscle function, balancing out fluids, hydration levels, preventing headaches, cramps, keeping your mental game on point. Like you can seriously slow down on your mental game and your reaction time simply because you're dehydrated. So we want to make sure that we're staying hydrated during that time. And then lastly, I think it's really important to make sure that we're going over the 80-20 rule. Okay, so the 80-20 rule is just basically saying that you don't have to be perfect. The purpose of this is to live your best life. One of the things that I wish somebody had a conversation with me about was that I didn't have to be 100% perfect. That was one of the reasons why either I was all in or not at all. This is called the all or nothing thinking, which is actually a fixed mindset. One of the reasons why people never actually see the results that they're looking for is because what's going on up in between their ears. You do need to have something a little bit more of a checks and balances, because we're human beings. We're not robots. If we think that we're going to be perfect, we're always going to be setting this goal that's never achievable. We're always going to be feeling like we're going to be falling short. We're restricted. We're not living our best life. This is to live your best life. Most people would define living their best life being pretty consistent, but not 100% consistent, because they would feel too much pressure. They'd feel like a robot, and it's miserable to feel that way. So you want to make sure that you're leaning into the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time you want to be eating really nutrient-dense foods, the list that I was saying before. But 20% of the time, have fun. Eat the food. If you're right here watching this video and you're a youth athlete, dude, eat the cookie. Like I have a tattoo of a cookie on my wrist. Eat the cookie. It's good for you every once in a while to do that. You don't have to be 100% perfect in order to see results. Like we work with people who have diabetes, who are able to eat candy bars and still get better and get off of medication and have their doctors awed in their progress. You don't have to be 100% perfect with their nutrition to see really, really great results and be a fantastic athlete. So make sure that 20% of the time, leave a little room for fun, leave a little bit of room to be a human being, enjoy everything. So that way you can actually be more consistent in the long run. All right. I'll also say this. I've worked with a lot of athletes, and one of the reasons why athletes work with me is because of the method that I do it. I make sure that this is sustainable for them. I make sure that they're leaving me both physically and mentally better than when they started. And one of the things that I always have to fix with my athletes is they've worked with people before, or they've had this mindset of all or nothing thinking, and we have to break that pattern because, again, you can develop some issues like I did, where it's like body dysmorphia, negative relationships with food issues, and you're just not going to enjoy the experience much longer if you keep beating yourself up over something that's not realistic. And your career will end early I've seen a lot of athletes do that. So to prevent that, again, be a human being, right? The 80-20 rule is fantastic for you. And then from there, here's a huge thank you. Thank you so much. If you're at the end of this video, it means more than you know. It's about 26 minutes in right now. And I know that your time and your attention is valuable. So if you got any benefit to this, I makes me super happy. If you ever have any questions, just let me know. I'm going to put in the notes below a link that if you want a call with me, this is literally what I'm here to do, is just help you. If that means taking a short call with you to answer some of your questions, I'm going to do it. More than happy to. It's what I'm here for. So if you have any questions, you know where to contact me. Again, it's going to be the notes below. If you want to book a really fast call, it's on me. Don't worry. I'll answer your questions. Other than that, keep thriving. Keep doing the damn thing. Wish you guys the best luck and keep going. Bye, guys.